Hey there YouTube, Rain here, coming at you with a KTK Draft, and this is on Magic Online. Well, this is a really good pack. From the bat, there's a Polluted Delta, which is good fixing, and is probably worth enough to draft again, but let's honestly just take a look at the rest. There's three really good uncommons. Two of them are in three colors. There's a Bring Low, a Scoured Barrens, and a Kill Shot. And a Pine Walker is like the single color cards. They're all in a variety of different things. I wouldn't mind picking one of these two here, but honestly I'm going to take the Polluted Delta, as this is not a highly competitive event. I feel like not taking this would be a mistake. There's a Debilitating Injury, a Bring Low, a Kill Shot, Scout the Borders, Glacial Stalker as the notable cards in the pack. Probably Sagu over Scout. I'm going to take the Debilitating Injury. Works well with the first pick, Polluted Delta. These two both work really well with Delve cards, and this is just really good removal in this set, and really cheap. The other option I could see is Bloodfell Caves, but black, red, blue is not a thing, and we might not end up red, and I'm just going to take the removal. Well, this is interesting. There's a Chief of the Scale. This card is really good. 2 mana 2/3s are just insane by themselves. There's a Stroke, a Weapon Master, which doesn't really fit with our first pick, but could. There's a Shambling Attendance and a Treasure Cruise, both of which I wouldn't mind one of, but this Chief of the Scale is really, really late. Like, people took commons over it. I'm really confused as to what commons they took. There aren't very many commons that are better than Weapon Master. And a 2/3 just in general. Sultai Flare would be good if we knew that we were in green. But right now we don't. There's a Blossoming Sands, which I would kind of like. There's also an Abzan Guide, which if we knew we were green, yet again. It looks like green is very open though. So I'm kind of tempted just to go for it. But I'm going to take the Feet of Resistance. I kind of know I'm white-black at this point, and I don't really have to commit to a third color. Feet of Resistance isn't actually much worse than any of these cards. So it's between that and like Blossoming Sands, but these cards are really good too. This could be wrong, but I'm going to take it. So I could take the Crag, but let's take a look at this pack. If I'm black-white, I'm either going to be playing green or red, and the Awaken the Bear is better than the Swift Kick. War Behemoth's okay, but I actually like Awaken the Bear more. This Crag could be useful if we do end up Mardu. And we're not really passing anything for it. The best cards in this pack are blue by a lot, but I just can't see ending up Esper. This War Behemoth isn't really good enough for me to take. That's a really late Abzan Guide. Actually, it's not really late, but I'm going to take it here. A little unfortunate that we're passing Jungle Hollow with all that really, really good green that we were passing earlier, but Abzan Guide is just good enough to put us in green. So looking to play a primarily black-white deck with some green in it. Probably a good amount of Warriors if I could. Maybe Raider Spoils. It's the hope. Could end up totally faltering on that. This pack doesn't have much for us. There's an Alpine Grizzly and a Defiant Strike. Yet again, blue is really, really open. And I would really consider dropping at this point into it. Like a blue-black white deck. Esper. It seems really sketchy. I'll be passing a lot of good cards. You know what? Blue is really just that open. I'm not passing anything, and Scion is like insane. Pretty sure I'm black at this point. But I have to consider the fact that that Weapon Master is really late. Not Singing Bellstrike though. Singing Bellstrike is not much worse than Weapon Master, and I wouldn't like to get out of black if I can at all avoid it. There's some decent cards here, but the best one is easily Smite the Monstrous. Scout the Borders is the best card in this pack. Still could end up being Abzan. Could even just end up being Abzan splashing blue for something. Or just splashing green. This pack might have a signal that just gives me direction, so hopefully looking for a good blue or green card from this pack. That's insane. You know, I don't want to be too hung up in my picks when something like a Weapon Master makes it this late. I'm just going to take it and probably look to end up Jeskai. Yeah, blue is really open in this draft. Could see splashing black. We have the polluted delta for it. These cards might be good enough. Blue-white based Jeskai deck. This can come back in. I do have the beginnings of a green splash too, potentially. Alright, so stayed pretty open in the first draft. I like to think that I picked correctly and that Jeskai was open, and as soon as I was very, very sure of that, I just moved in. This pack I'm going to be looking for flyers, creatures in general, but definitely looking for blue, white, and red cards over black cards. This pack, Ruthless Ripper is the best card in the pack, but for me it's between Watcher and Mystic. Flyers are just really, really powerful in this format. This is better than Windrake is in most formats, and very, very first pickable. Mystic isn't actually much worse. I think Watcher's slightly better at like blocking because you gain 2 life and does 2 damage too on the 3rd turn. That's up to debate, but I think that I do want just the flyer in my deck and also want the 3-drop. Jeez. This makes me like kind of want to look to black again. Is playing a Esper deck really out of the question here? Murderous Cut is like insane. And like, what am I passing here? Some cards to splash green. And a Bloodfire Expert. Now I'm taking the Murderous Cut. Right now the only reason to be red I have is this, oh god, is this Weapon Master. Actually it looks like I'm going to end up Esper. I can't pass up a second Murderous Cut, that's just awesome. I'm going to miss out on really cool tricolor cards, but hopefully I can just get the power in my mono and dual color cards. Also, in theory, I could still be Abzan. This is a very weird draft. There's a Bondkin. Oh my god, I just wasn't looking. Okay. I could take this Swiftwater Cliffs, which would be good if I was playing red, but I really have no reason to play red. I just have a Weapon Master. And there's an Embodiment. I'm not in green. There's a Hate Blade, which I wouldn't hate. Ha, ha. But definitely just going to take the Bondkin here. Alright, this is actually my first time drafting a 3-color deck that is not one of the clans, so all I need to note is I really need creatures. There's a Dismal Backwater. I have too much white to move in on Sultai, and that's the biggest problem. I don't have anything to move in on green right now. This card's not good. This pack is just bad for everybody that's not Sultai. Sometimes that just happens. Definitely don't mind picking up the fixing, but I really do need more creatures. My spell quality is pretty high. Wow, that's a late Armament Core. Yeah, see, just spells, no creatures. What am I in blue for right now? Versus what I would be in green for. This Armament Core. Yeah, I think going back to Abzan at this point. So wishy-washy, but I'm just trying to read the draft. And Armament Core is just too powerful to pass up here. Salt Road Patrol, I need guys. This guy is actually really good. I'm lacking in 4s as well. This is just like the perfect pickup for me. I'd really like this Blossoming Sands though. I just need the creatures. Disowned Ancestors fine, Highland Games fine. I do have 2 good 2-drops though, and I like having extra Outlast guys. I think it's close. Highland Game's actually a really good card, but I think I'm going to take the Ancestor. Especially with high spell decks, defensive creatures are good because they allow you to live to cast all your spells. I do have a Scout the Borders, a Polluted Delta, and a Debilitating Injury, Feat of Resistance, and Defiant Strike to get cards in the graveyard for the attendance, but I think the consistency of Disowned Ancestor is going to put it a little over the edge. That and the fact that I have 2 Murderous Cuts, that would be cool to cast for cheaper, even if I don't have to. Alright, this third pack I'm going to be looking for fixing and creatures. If I have to, War Behemoth is a playable card. And it's also a creature. Alright, now I'm feeling a lot more comfortable. This is the point where if I see fixing, I'll just slam it. Moving into pack 3 with 16 playables is already really good. Just gonna take a race for the sideboard. The rest of this is not on color. The odds of me siding it in aren't very high, but there's a chance. Ramparts is a better card than Snakeskin, and there's a theoretical scenario where I side it in. I don't see it with the amount of removal I have right now. This probably won't make the cut. Both of these are awful. I think people will be more tempted to play the Dreadmaw, so I'm going to take the land. Just because I'll be happy if anybody plays on any of the other cards. Same reasoning. Cool. Yeah, land drafting. Ivory Tusk Fortress, a 5/7 for 5 is already awesome. It makes me very happy that I moved back into Abzan. Works really well with like Outlast guys, especially defensive Outlast guys, which it looks like I have quite a few of. Good pull, good pull. Gonna look to round out with maybe some 3-drops and 4-drops this pack. High Spiring Mantis is really good, but we can't take it. Icy Blast is something I should try to play around. Seeker is a really, really powerful card, especially with the quality of spells I have. Dragon Scale Boon's a really good one as well. There is no fixing in this pack for me, so I'm just going to take the Seeker. It's a really good creature. Good players will respect the prowess, so this guy's just going to get through all day. I like to see him as a 2-mana 3/3 with downside. There's a Wooded Foothills, which, I mean, I took the Polluted Delta, so I'm not going to guise you out and just take the money. But I'm going to consider between Timely Hordemate, Abzan Guide, and Longshot Squad, and Blossoming Sands. Hordemate is really good in this deck. We have a Chief of the Scale, makes this guy a 3/3. We have a Seeker of the Way, which is good at every point in the game, Anok Bondkin, and 2 Disowned Ancestors for it. This guy's going to get value pretty much every time, but Longshot Squad is a really powerful Outlast effect. I actually have a slight weakness to flyers right now, and this just fills that in so well. Blossoming Sands, I really don't have fixing right now, which is a big weakness, but Longshot Squad's really, really good. But since I took that, I'm going to have to like slam fixing if I see it. Seeker also makes me happier about playing this Defiant Strike. Scout the Borders can help me fix. I'm definitely primarily black-white as well. This is a reason to side in a race. It's like the primary reason. In this pack, there is a Smite the Monstrous, a Bear's Companion, a Bringlow, and a Scoured Barrens. The rest of these are okay, but those would definitely be on the top of the list, and I'm just as I was saying before, slamming the fixing. Krumar is a good one, actually. I take a look at the warrior count. I have a few, but not a lot. I'm definitely a more defensive deck anyway, so this isn't really powerful. Definitely going to take the Krumar here. Ruthless Ripper. I can't believe this wheeled. I remember it being... Oh, this pack is insane. Have I even seen this? It might have been my opening pack. This guy is really, really good. This card is really great. I don't remember if I passed it in my initial pack, and if I did, I'm sorry, I shouldn't have. But the fact that it is here now makes me a happy person. This card wasn't quite as insane as I initially evaluated it as, but oh man. Death Frenzy, this card is great. I have like a very, very defensive deck. Death Frenzy will also trigger Prowess, so it doesn't even kill Seeker. Yeah, Death Frenzy kills barely any of my guys. I'm really low on the morph as well, so it helps there. And it just wipes the board. The other option would be Scavenger or Smoke Teller, but neither of them compare. This gets me back into a game where I'm super behind as well, so that's good. Scoured Barons have to take the fixing. I am one playable short right now. But I just can't pass this up. On-color fixing is just going to make my deck a lot more consistent. I should be able to find some filler card, even though they're two cards I would definitely like to play. Alright, this draft rounded out pretty nicely. I don't regret looking at blue. I think it was the right decision at the time. A lot of blue was making it late. Hateblade is pretty good. Bondkin is not that good, but he does kind of round out my curve. The awkward part is just how many things I have to do on 5. It comes a little high. I'm just going to take the Hateblade. This guy is insane in the aggressive decks, and much better than anything else in this pack. Being able to do this and then follow up with another card is just like a huge blowout. Blossoming Sands, wheeled, that's pretty awesome. Alright, my deck just got a lot better with that pick. This is just a swamp in my deck, but that is okay. I suppose I could side this in a situation where one of these guys isn't very good. I don't want to overwhelm myself with 1-drops though, especially since I have a lot to do on 2. Actually, I get to cut a card. Cool. Maybe the Hateblade? Don't really need it. Contemplation's more dangerous. I've This with Act of Treason can start wrecking people's days really quickly. I think the Hate Blade goes. All of my 1-drops are much better, and I really don't need that many. Scout the Border is still very good. The odds of missing are very small. Hey, all the land drafting I did was on color. Alright, deck building time. So yeah, this is like the setup I was looking at. Just gonna overview for you guys the deck, what it does well, what it doesn't do well. Hopefully I drafted so that it has less of a weakness to certain things. So this deck, let's take a look at removal. I have really great removal. Ruthless Ripper as well. Like this deck will have no problems dealing with bombs, dealing with massed boards, dealing with big creatures, like small creatures, big creatures, everything. I should be fine on the removal front. In terms of a game plan to kill them, most likely it involves outlasting a billion times and just getting in there. I can't really come out the gate super aggressive. Seeker and Defiant Strike would be like the most aggressive thing I can do. But most likely I'm going to start making my big plays around turn 5 when I can start flipping these guys up or playing these guys. And until then I can just keep my board pressure up enough so that I can outlast my ancestors, outlast my Longshot Squad and Salt Road Patrol, and just get a lot of value out of the game. Feat should be very good. It's good with Bondkin especially. And Defiant Strike's good with Bondkin as well. Scout the Borders will help me fix. And I do have 3 fixing lands, which is a little low, but isn't actually that bad. Delta helps me cast Murderous Cuts as well. Cool. I like this deck a lot. I'm just going to add lands, and I'll be back for gameplay.